lamb plus duck fat should equal epic flavour, right? Well, I'm going to debone this and confit sous vide it with the duck fat, and we'll see how it goes. Paul, thank you for this idea.
I ended up fairly crudely tunnel boning the lamb. It was an impulsive decision, being led by the idea that I'd stuff the lamb with herbs from the garden without having to truss it. Delaying gratification, I think, is a key ingredient to happiness in life and in this context, flavour. I am, like everyone else, however, I am susceptible to shortcuts. However, in this process, I firmly believe there are no shortcuts. Sous vide won't allow it. And in a way, I feel that is comforting. Sometimes you have to let life's ingredients percolate for a while. And in this case, it was herbs, lamb, and duck fat.
I think I'm going to double bag this though. It's going into the sous vide machine at 67 degrees Celsius for about 40 hours. This better be good. Okay, so now I've got 40 hours to figure out what to have that with. It's time to get cooking.
40 hours later, and the ideas were flowing thick and fast. But in the end, I went for a fairly orthodox pairing of subterranean delights, and I had them peeled and chopped. I had a vision of that which was below becoming the above, sort of like an upside down forest where the roots become the trees. What did I mean? I think this was something to do with how I was going to plate it, but I wasn't entirely sure. But the view was starting to materialize in my mind's eye. They were all offering their flavors within a glaze of balsamic syrup and a slick of sage-infused olive oil, and I would roast them until sweet and caramelized and soft. And then, of course, the king of vegetables, the potatoes, getting undressed and chopped, and then straight into the pressure cooker. I spoke about shortcuts earlier. The pressure cooker is one of these. Wield it correctly and you shall be food god.
So the lamb is done. It's been just over 40 hours. And I'm very nervous because this could go one of three ways. It could be perfect. It could be undercooked, or it could be, well, how do you put it? Dry as a chip. Fingers crossed is the first one. Number two would be also okay because it's, fixable. Number three, if it's too dry, well, there's no coming back from number three. Well, so my first reaction is that it's okay. It seems to be just fine. And little tidbit here, I actually reduced the temperature by 10 degrees because I absolutely dropped my nuts at the fear of overcooking it at 67. So it was 57 for about 30 hours of that. Probably didn't do anything. It's just a little bit more conservative. But it's still soft, which is a good sign. And it's still in one piece, which I don't know if that's a good sign or not, but it smells incredible. So what I'll be doing is I'll be taking a piece off of it and then basting it in that duck and now lamb fat and searing it off. Oh, shit. Oh no. Let's see if this comes off. Well, the shanky part of the thing is really good. But it is very, very good.
I set aside some of that hyper-flavored duck fat for later.
Nectar of the gods.
Now the lamb. Now I've got to say, my heart was in my mouth cutting into this. But glory! It was pink. It was tender. And I had so much of it. We're actually still eating it as I read off this voiceover. But it was just fantastic. So, I got a big lump of it, liberally salted it, and fried it in some of the duck fat, and basted it until it was absolutely perfect, and the outside had a fairly reasonable crust. Chasing up the lamb, I had some obnoxiously expensive blueberries. I fried them in the duck fat and chased it with a touch of balsamic, which seems to be the thread that's holding everything together, perhaps a little bit tenuously. Our sinful deeds are often the most satisfying ones, and again I'll refer to my initial point, delayed gratification. Making a potato puree and then lacing it with duck fat is the exact opposite of that. It's an express ticket to flavour and perhaps also the grave. I never said I was perfect, but the Morley made short work of it, and hot milk kept everything nice and loose. And then the vision started to become clear. Potato around a ramekin to form a little basin for a pond of blueberries, fat and tangy balsamic, and then dressing the potato with those root vegetables to create a topographical map of a rather weird but incredibly delicious forest with just a little bit of lamb roaming through.
I don't want to toot my own trumpet, but that was nearly impeccable. The caramelized vegetables with the balsamic vinegar turned into actual like sort of balsamic caramel in the oven. That was nice. Slight burnt sugar flavor to it, which probably pushed it a little bit too far. That mash, okay. Duck fat mash is just a big yes. It is just insane. The sauce, which was a balsamic sauce with sauteed blueberries, really tasty. Gives it a nice sort of sweet and tangy hit that sort of cuts through all the fat of the dish. But then obviously the lamb, that's a showstopper. It's not melt in your mouth, it's still a little bit steaky, but without any sort of like actual resistance. It's just like, it's crazy. It's very indulgent. And you know what? I actually recommend just giving it a go. Not even having to do confit. Just fry your steaks, or your lamb steaks in particular, in duck fat. It's outrageously tasty. So Paul, thank you. I'll be doing that one again. I've got extra duck fat. I sort of want to put the camera down so I can just get on with eating. Bye.